women are inherently medicinal. Like, we bleed from the center of our bodies every month. And what it's funny, when I work with women is I encourage them to create these rituals around their cycles. And when they start to do that, they start to tap into a witchiness that they're afraid of, because probably someone in their lineage was burned for being too witchy, too pagan,
Yeah.
too part of the earth. But that is your birthright. Your birthright is to have incredible pleasure. Your birthright is to be completely connected to this experience that we're in, and completely connected to your body. So it's really parsing out uh, this very deeply interwoven shame and guilt tools that are held over us. And pleasure is the antidote for that.
It's amazing to me how many women I've worked with that are so detached from the most important things about themselves. I think a lot of that comes from the birth control pill. I think it really detaches women from their
Yes.
true feminine essence, the cycles of
Mhm.
life, the moon, the water, the rhythms, and they just become too up in their heads and too out in the world.
Mhm.
There's been countless women that have come to me with really serious health problems. I tracked right back to the birth control pill,
Yeah.
and would teach them about um, you know things like, I say, do you pay attention to your vaginal secretions and notice the change as you're in different phases of your cycle, so that you know when you're about to be fertile? Do
Mhm.
you pay attention, or have you ever monitored your body temperature and correlated that with your ovulation cycle? I would be lucky if 1 in 100 women says, "Oh yes, I'm aware of my vaginal secretions and when they change and things like that." It's just like they're so detached from their vaginas. It's I the more I ran into that, the more shocked I was. It's like, wow, we've got a whole culture full of women that have never really learned how to be a woman or how to care for a woman's body. I think
Yeah.
that's sad, really. It's part of the
Well,
disease of our culture.
it's by design. Because if a woman was truly connected, when a woman is truly connected to this space, she doesn't need to get pelvic examinations. She doesn't need to have a doctor tell her how she's going to run her body. And she can then use her sexual energy to be channeled in the direction of her dreams. So it's by design that we're that disconnected from our bodies. And I mean, I was just speaking to a university team and a basketball team about simple like cycle syncing and just knowing their vaginas. And most of them don't know where their cervix is. No, most of them don't understand any of the anatomy of their pelvic space. And that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem in our society. And when a woman is that disconnected, she's also not apt to make a stand, to use her voice, to really make changes in the world, because she is used to deferring to outside sources for her wisdom. But this truly is about, through discovering your pleasure, you're finding a deeper wisdom. I've read all of the books. I've read all the books, well, not all of them, but a lot of books on like cycle syncing and women's health and the physiology. But what really changed the game for me was when I began to tap into my inherent wisdom of knowing, when do I push? When do I relax? What does my body need? What do I need to ask for in my life? And that's what do I need to nourish my body? Like, oh, I'm really craving, like, I know I need some bone broth right now. It's like really attuning to your inner signals. And
That's
female
what I
athletes.
teach.
Right. That's what you teach. And I guess there's there's multiple ways to get there, but for women, I think the special journey is understanding this alchemical container of absolute transformation and pleasure right in between your legs, like right in your own body. And when you begin tapping into that regenerative cycle of yourself, you begin to notice that in nature. Like I'm growing a big garden out here, and it's just like 10 minutes a day I spend with this garden, and she thrives. You begin to understand like the ebbs and flows and trusting the experience of creation itself. And I want women to, when I work with them, I want them to walk away trusting their experience, trusting their emotions, trusting the heaviness before a flow. And that just being with that is, and ritualizing it helps you open up to your wisdom. And that's what I want for any woman that works with me.
Yeah, if I was a woman, even if it was by design, I would say, fuck you, I'm redesigning. I don't give a
Yes.
shit what you want. My philosophy is that freedom is really a choice between yes and no, and only you
Mm.
can make that choice. And if someone, if I went to church and someone told me I couldn't touch my genitals or whatever, I never believed any of that crap. Even as a kid, I was smart enough to figure that out. I'm like, yeah, so I end up like a grumpy ass like you all day. Right. I'll pass. You know, I highly doubt Jesus had all these hangups. But
Oh, I know. And that's why I tell women too, like who have been more in the Judeo Christian like realms, to read the Magdalene manuscripts, to
yes.
understand the true relationship between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene and the sex magic of Isis. It's
Hmm.
mind blowing that they were showing us that through pure sexual love and the masculine and feminine play, orgasmic dance, you can strengthen the Ka body or the energetic body. And then once you have a really strong energetic body, there is no death anymore because you leave this form and transition in your energetic body to walk through the realm of death. So this is like, I could get very esoteric with the importance of sexuality and why modern religion, or Christianity in particular, destroyed the feminine. It's became the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But
Yeah, I
where's
know.
where's
I
the
think that's
where's
just
the
crazy.
feminine in that? And really
Yeah.
that's a denial of earth. It's a denial of the woman's body. It was dirty, it was profane. And to get to the heavenly realms, you just better stay away from that. But to get to the heavenly realms, one must first go through the body, the gift that you've been given. So this is big, big work. And but it can be really fun. It doesn't have to be super heavy.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's just a matter of, when people start giving me all this religious silliness, I just look right in their eyes and say, I have one question for you. How is that working for you so far? Are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you whole? Well, I already know the answer because you're in my office paying me a large sum of money every hour to help you figure out why you're not enjoying your life and why your body's breaking down. So
Mhm.
why don't we just agree to stop playing games that are destroying the entire culture of humanity worldwide and have your own relationship with God instead of reading some book written by some sexually frustrated priest?
And um, the other thing is that women are inherently medicinal. Like we bleed from the center of our bodies every month. And what it's funny when I work with women is I encourage them to create these rituals around their cycles. And when they start to do that, they start to tap into a witchiness that they're afraid of, because probably someone in their lineage was burned for being too witchy, too pagan,
Yeah.
too part of the earth. But that is your birthright. Your birthright is to have incredible pleasure. Your birthright is to be completely connected to this experience that we're in and completely connected to your body. So it's really parsing out uh, this very deeply interwoven shame and guilt tools that are held over us. And pleasure is the antidote for that.